So right now, I think the story on this vehicle, sitting for decades, everything is done to just get it up and running and working, and then evaluate how much more money, and I don't know if it's going to get sold off or the money's going to be dumped into it to complete restore, but I think it's to get the whole thing up and running, because I see a lot of little stuff that was done, like to control the air here. I've seen a lot of little things were done, where the injectors go. I think I see some epoxy there or something like that, or something to seal. I'm not sure what was done. They were pulled just to get them running. And so I think the minimum is to see, I don't know what the value of these things are. I gotta ask what the value. I think the value must be pretty high, because to put this much work into just seeing what is good. This is the 300 SEL 6.3, and this, I think I released a video a couple weeks ago about this is going to look like that nice blue one that I had that was completely restored. So if this goes that route, it would be like $150,000 into it to restore it if it's a complete restore. And as you see, all the wet shiny stuff you see there, that is the big blue. And I all the known leak points. You know, I got all the welds, all the bends down here. I'm going after that first. All I did is put 200 psi of dry nitrogen into the system. I went after, like, if there's going to be a leak here at the sight glass seal right there, and you can see inside the sight glass, it's brown, and that brownish red yellowish tint, that's all rust from moisture contamination in the system. Most likely we'll be replacing this, and I'll cut open the receiver dryer. I'm going to put refrigerant in this just to test the system and the compressor, but look at our bubbles over there. See all those bubbles? Those bubbles are coming from somewhere right about here. You see that right there? There we go. Let me get in there better. Boom. It's been bubbling for minutes now. It just keeps making bubbles. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't dry out. It doesn't go away. It just keeps going and going and going. And that is what happens when you use the Big Blue Original. You can get this at TruTech Tools. Oops, I'm getting in here really good. TruTech Tools has this Big Blue. Comes in little handheld swab. Comes in this. Then you get gallon refills. I just buy a whole case of gallon refills, and then refills. I get a whole case of this, and I get a whole case of gallon refills, because I go to a lot of it. So that's a given right there. I mean, look at this thing. It's original. So you're going to replace everything anyway if you're going to go into it. You could see somebody did a repair right here. Here's a more modern day hose, and they cut and they spliced, and you could see a little bit of bubbles forming there, but the bubbles were up top. Let's see if they're still bubbling, or did the pressure go down enough to stop? No, it's still bubbling. There we go. So it's good enough where I could put some refrigerant in here, start it, see how the expansion valve goes. But most likely on something like this, all new hoses, new receiver dryer, the condensers are no longer available. So you either clean and spray paint the original, or you modify everything and put in a parallel flow condenser in there, a remote or a different mount, different style receiver dryer, and you make up your own hose fittings and your own brackets and bend stuff. Condenser, evaporator, if it could stay the same. I wish I had time to play around and do more hobbies. This is why I want to partway retire, so I could do project cars for people like this for fun instead of work. I mean, I don't work anyway, it's just a hobby. But other than that, I would take this evaporator that's in here, this large tube and fin evaporator, and what I would do is I try to find the largest fitting evaporator that I could get in the original case, and see what kind of like brackets or fins or a foam to make it mount properly and get the airflow through it. Or even two evaporators and run them in parallel, like two little Prius evaporators, and parallel run them. And and use that in a car like this. What else? If someone like this had a car like this and they were going to a hot place like Utah or Arizona where it gets 120, 122 degrees in the summertime, I would install a rear air conditioning system. Oh, do they have the rear air conditioning system in here? No, that's it. A rear limousine air conditioning system in here that you would run the tubes down below or under the seats, and you would take in the air to feed the rear system. And then through here, like on the limousines, you would run thin tubes up from the limousine evaporator, come up to the top, and you would put vents in the top shooting down on the passengers that you can control the flow and you can control the angle and stuff like that. You could even have vents here shooting cold air following the window, and you shoot it in a direction so it doesn't hit the back of the heads of the passengers, but it goes over their heads into the cabin area. That's what I would do on something like this if it was going to go to a hot climate. And of course, change the old York or Tecumseh compressor over to like a little Sandon. All right, guys, I'll come back to you on this. Let's see where the pressure's at. We're at 130 psi. I was at 200 psi. So I'm going to put this under a vacuum now because I know where the leaks are, the big ones. I didn't even get to the compressor yet or under the dash, but I'll do some more squirting, look for some more leaks, and then go to vacuum, put some UV dye in the system, get it up and running, and see the condition of the compressor, the shaft seal and everything like that after it gets up in operation after sitting for decades. See you.